Right, so let's do Fight Club voting, because everyone always asks about it as a thing that you can get for the frame. Let's go and show frame off, actually. Why not? So frames. So sure, there's somewhere which tells you actually how you can get it, but it's the Fight Club King of Gambling frame, which is if you win all your bets, you can get a frame for it. So cool if you want to chase for that. It's always worth it. I'm sure I missed some this week. Yeah, so I missed yesterday. No, 2 days ago. Personally, I use a lot of the Fight Club voting to vote for family members, so that's is used. The cost of gambling is only 2 hours of cigars, so or the wager as it's called. So it's a very small portion of the amount of cigars you get every day, and cigars have a lot less value generally as you're higher rank. So apart from when you're really early starting on and every cigar counts, I'd say, just spend those cigars, go for it. Back who you think's going to win. So how do you decide who's going to win? I think the first thing I'll start with is ignore the percentages you see, because that's popular vote, and lots of people vote based purely on fight power, like this person has more fight power, therefore they're definitely going to win. I'd say that's a really bad indicator, apart from when someone has like 5 times as much fight power, because there is an element to, there's only so much you can overcome. But don't read the fight power and go, oh, it's definitely going to be that person just because of that. And definitely don't just go, this person from Volcanoes has 90% votes, therefore they're definitely going to win. I think both those are terrible strategies. With the current meta, they're basically run full or close to full, same nation. So you have the tentacles-headed Mexican lineup is popular. The Italian lineup revolving around Gianluca and Godfather, and to an certain extent the Ornella Vittoria combo for lots of shields. And then the actually has been run for a very long time, typically full Japan lineup. Just because Tomo works that way and is that strong. So you can go through checking talents and gear, because that does matter. But it does matter a reasonable amount, to be fair, as well. But a lot of the Fight Club people set it up at least okay, even if not necessarily optimally. Similarly with the exact lineups they run, like running Ava in that Mexican lineup, or just running Wesker in that lineup. Both have their pros and their cons. Again, I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'm sort of just talking bigger picture, especially if you don't want to spend loads of time estimating on who you want to win. The big thing really for me is team 1, 2, 3. As far as in this case, the way I memorise it is Mexican, Italian, Japan versus. So Mexican is the top one, which tends to have a good favourable matchup against Italian. Then it's the reverse. It's Italian versus Mexican. So again, fight 2. And then for fight 3, it's Japan versus Japan. And that's the real big swing, because whoever gets to go first in Japan versus Japan tends to win. So the first fight is a coin toss, dice roll specifically. Whoever wins the dice roll gets to go first, and attackers get all their skills triggering first. Go and watch my PvP mechanics video. And it means that in this particular scenario, Italian versus Mexican, I generally tend to favour the Mexican side, even though the dice roll may go Italians for team first. Don't think it really matters. Similarly for the second fight, even though the expected winner would be Loki in this case, I think the Imtress's Italian team will win second, but it means the third fight, which is, I already said, is the pivotal one, Loki will go first, so my expectation for that fight is Loki to win. And then similarly for the Volcanoes person, Japan, Italian, Mexican. There you go, there's a Wesker option in the Italian team. And the Avers swung across to the Italian lineup. Versus DN's, I've already forgotten the order, let's read it out loud so I can remember it. Japan, Italian, Mexican. Japan, so Japan used to be really strong versus the Mexican, but because of the awakening on tents, having both, having the nation HP plus the CMV nation HP means they're a lot more durable than they used to be. So it is actually still favourable to the Mexican lineup now. That is one place where it is worth sort of just double checking how much damage the Tomo Gift of the Samurai does, so 200 billion. Because if they happen to have a particularly weak Tentacles that has less than 200 billion health, obviously this is a one rainbow star, so it has quite a bit more than 200 billion health. That it might make a difference, but for especially in the semi-finals, you'd expect them to have a reasonable amount of mythical stars. So I'd expect Mex to win that, and then I've already gone off again. So Japan, Ita, Mex. So Ita versus Mex lineup again. You'd expect the Mex to win. No, it's Ita Mirror, and then it's Mex versus Japan in the last slot, which again you'd expect the Mexican to win. So this is much harder to call because even if the Japan team goes first, I'd expect them to lose. So it's the Italian Mirror. I quite like the Ava in the Italian lineup. Is the same for both. Gianluca's opposite Godfather. So I would go for the Volcanoes person just because they have it's Gianluca's opposite each other. I'd say that's going to be really close, and is the reason I would not vote for that fight. I'd go and vote for the other one. But when you only have the choice of two, or like when you get down to the finals, there's an element of you just need to get a bit lucky, because there is the dice roll, which does matter who goes first. There is the element of dodge chance mattering more. The difference with having that Ava on the Mexican lineup, or having it Ava on the Italian lineup, or even having the Ava on the Japan lineup can make all the difference. You always also get some surprise victories. From memory, in Group 5, top left, bottom fight. I've said the Mexican lineup is generally favoured versus the Italian lineup. This Mexican lineup also had the Gianluca in it, so I'd say it's probably even the stronger variation thereof. But the full Italian lineup, which isn't again full Italian because it had the CMV and Miranda in it, beat it. So there is lots of ifs and buts, and it's not quite as straightforward as I've just said, but that's why I was looking bigger picture at just saying the sort of matchups are easier to vote on, whereas when you get these ones, there's lots of things that you could say, I think this person will win or that person will win, but it's so much harder to call. I would have probably gotten this one wrong as well, which is why I'm highlighting it. So the answer is, especially when you've got more choice, like especially where you've still got the round initially, and you can vote on lots of different ones, go and find a more obvious one to vote on. Like even I'd say in the finals this time round, I'm way more confident on the bottom fight than the top one. So go vote. Go vote for your families. Go vote for whoever you want to go and vote for, because it only costs 2 hours cigars. I think it's always worth it, just for a bit of fun, if nothing else. And good luck getting those frames.